Okay, so first off, we're making sure that we have all our material. We have our 3 bottles. We need our 3 bottle caps. We also have our food coloring scissors, duct tape, the soldering iron plugged in, and also the hot glue gun, if you can see it right over here in the corner, plugged in with just one glue stick. So what we are going to start with is our tubing right here. We are going to measure out 12 inches right here. That's the full length of the actual ruler. Next up, we have our 3 bottle caps. We're going to place 1 bottle cap to the side. This is not going to be touched. And we have our 2. The first one, let's just move these bottles out of the way so you can see very clearly what I will be doing. The first one, we will only be placing 1 hole through the center. Soldering iron, whatever you do, we do not touch it, okay? This is boiling hot. This will burn you severely. So please be very careful. Keep your hands out of the way. It's just a straight up and down motion. We're going right through, nice and slow. You do not need to apply any pressure. It'll cut through on its own. Now we see how that went through. We have a perfect hole. This is for us to be able to get the tubing through. We can see that that hole is quite small. We just need to make it a teeny bit larger. Now it will smell. See how we made it a bit larger in order for the tube to be able to fit through. So our first bottle cap, just 1 hole on the top. Our second bottle cap has no holes as of right now, but we will be placing 2 holes equally apart. So I would go from one end and then the other end. Up and down motion. Keep our fingers completely still. Down all the way through and then up. And then down all the way through and up. So we have 2 holes on each side, okay? Now these holes still are not quite big enough, so we're gonna have to play with it a little bit more in order to get the holes large enough in order for the straws to get through. Now we don't want to overdo it, otherwise the straws will just slide through and we don't want that. All right, our soldering tool is just going to burn off the rest of the plastic, and yes, it does smell. We'll place that off to the side. We no longer need it at this point. We should have these two holes, one with 1 hole and then the other second one with 2 holes. Okay. Simple so far? Great. Okay. Next, what we will be doing, we will be taking our first tube, putting it through the hole. And as you can see, my hole is not large enough, so we're going to have to just make it a little bit larger with the soldering tool again. That's why we leave it off to the side. Just make it a teeny bit larger. I'm going to pull the hole through. Now it will go through. All right, we need to make sure it goes all the way through. All right, and we're going to leave it about halfway. Okay, and we have this. It should look like this in the end. Then with our second one, we're going to put the remaining 2 tubes in each. I can actually just see if it fits first before I use the soldering tool. And they do. It's good, snug fit. That's actually what you want. You want a nice, good, snug fit. And we are going to take the second one and place it through. All right, it should look something like this. Right. Then here comes the easy part. This is just your hardest part. We have our 2 bottle caps. We are going to take our first tube and our second. All right. We are going to add, we'll say about 2 drops of food coloring in each one. And then I'm going to add 2 drops of food coloring. Okay, there we go. Close it up right away so we don't get it all over our hands and all over my tables and me having to force you guys to clean all this up. We don't want that, right? Okay, we got these 2. And we're going to pause right there. Okay, so at this point, what we are going to do is we are going to get some water and we are going to pour it in, okay? We want to make sure that it isn't filled completely to the top. And try not to spill. I have paper towels to help clean up, but let's focus on concentration. So I filled it up about 90%. I think that's fine. And then we'll fill up the second one about the same. All right, let's get my second bottle. So at this point we have both, okay, filled up almost 90%. We are going to take our 2 bottle cap, place both tubes on the inside, and just go ahead and twist it on. Then we are going to take our second bottle cap, actually place this tube through and twist it on. And we're just gonna make sure the tubes go through. Now for our third bottle, we're gonna place over here. You just wanna leave this one open. And now what it represents is here we have the ventricle pumping from representing our heart. So we have the ventricle pumping the fluid into our body, which this will be our body, and then our atrium right here. Taking blood flow from here into our ventricle and our ventricle into our body to circulate so we can get some oxygen. You created a simple human heart. Way to go, guys. Now what I also like to do in order for it to stay in place is I take hot glue and I seal off our section. Make sure your hot glue gun is on low, because if it's on high, what it's going to end up doing is melting the tube. So make sure it is on low and you're filling up all the cracks. Also, if you want to do a little extra work, we can put another hole through a bottle cap and place this on in order for the water not to leak through. So we're going to put that through here again. And then we're going to place it on top. Got it. Let's watch our heart go. Now, what I did with mine is, because these are all over the place and they're not very secure, I took cardboard and I created a little holder for them. All right, so that's your decision if you choose to make that. And what we are going to do is label them just like I have, with ventricle, body, and atriums. All right, so good luck. Let's try to be creative in how we do this, and let's put it all together and create a human heart.